Hello, and welcome to our news and announcements for the week starting November the 26th. Um, we're doing double duty over here at the VLF Nation, so I'm not in my usual or one of my usual locations for the news, but we're going to get through this. Okay, so first thing, Pastor Phil had his eye surgery yesterday and will be home recuperating. I ask that you please keep him and Lady J in your prayers. If she needs something, I'm sure she'll reach out and volunteer us. But we want our pastor to rest during this time of recuperation, and the ministerial staff will be taking over for the next few Sundays in his absence, or his absence from actually preaching. This past Sunday was our Youth Sunday or Youth Explosion, where our youth filled many of the positions throughout the church. I will be remiss in not letting everyone know that our junior member, Mishan Noble Jr., doing big things with multimedia in the back room. He's proficient in a lot of things, so he was serving on Sunday. You just didn't see him. However, Pastor Phil, who usually turns it over to an invited youth speaker or such, took this opportunity to bring his own message of "Do you know who you are?" for the young people. It was a very good sermon. It was directed at the young people, and as he stepped from the pulpit and spoke to them directly, their response actually let you know that they were paying attention to the sermon. Okay, Sunday. I think that was it for that Sunday. Tonight, as this will air on Tuesday, November 28th, tonight we'll be meeting with the Streets of Hope. We've been talking to the Streets of Hope for like the last 2 months, and this will be our first time that we're actually going to serve a meal with the men that stay at the Streets of Hope. We will be preparing, serving, and actually sitting with the gentlemen as they eat their meal, and just give them words of hope and encouragement. The address is 920 Essex Avenue. It's right off of Marlin Avenue after you come off of Eastern Boulevard. It's probably about 3 streets up on the right, and go down to the bottom of the hill. There are a couple of churches right at the beginning, at least one church, but there's a church or two at the beginning. Go down to the bottom of the hill, look on your left-hand side, and you'll see a sign for the Streets of Hope. Turn there. It's actually, Streets of Hope is actually in the basement of the church that lets them use their space. So just make your left there onto the parking lot and knock on one of the doors for that level. This coming Sunday, we'll be ushering in our Advent season, with the first being Hope. Please note that our call to worship will adjust to match the season, and as well as us lighting the candles as we start the Advent season. I think that's it for Advent Sunday. If it's something else, I will bring it back to you. I'm reading my notes, but I'm also trying to remember some of the things, because some of the things aren't in the notes. They might have come by way of conversation. We're doing big things, like I said, over at our second YouTube channel, VLF Nation. We have a number of spotlights. However, we ask that you catch this week's spotlight, where we feature our very own Felicia Keys talking about her new show that will be premiering on the VLF Nation. Hopefully next week. We're shooting for Tuesday or Thursday of next week. The date and time we'll let you know. But she recorded her first show this past Sunday evening. And it was probably because there was no Ravens game. But sitting in the backdrop and I guess producing the show, I found it very interesting and engaging. And it can only get better. So here's a clip from that show. that will be premiering next week, which will be called Conversations with Fee. Here's a clip. Please enjoy.
Antoine, you got your friends. That's your flock. He's placed you in a position for a reason. You speak to your flock, you allow yourself to be vulnerable, and you be transparent. And those who you're supposed to usher in are going to come. I know for a fact they're going to come. I love you, Antoine.
You too, bro. I like the way you did that story, though. You really just started bum rushing me in the parking lot. I was like, yo, I said, this guy.
And then he let the cat out the bag, so you can't put it back in.
And he always listened, man.
Yeah. It was worth
So
it.
y'all heard it first right there that the men listen. So men, come and listen and talk.
I think another thing has got to come from men, though.
Yeah,
Do y'all agree? Like,
I agree.
we followed our ladies into the church because of something we were looking for.
As you see, the guests were engaged, and it was a good show. It's a little bit over an hour, but I guarantee you'll find it interesting and entertaining with this group. We are still collecting blankets. Please bring your blankets in and give them to myself or one of the ushers or someone from Sandy Johnson's Have a Heart to Help ministry. This is just before December, our Feeding the Friends weekend. That's me calling it. It's not a set thing, a Feeding Our Friends weekend, but we'll be feeding our friends on December the 16th. We gather at the church around 8 o'clock and we do a setup so that we can start feeding our friends, giving out needed items, toiletries, and things at 9 o'clock on that day. Again, that weekend is December the 16th. We are looking for volunteers. And speaking of volunteers, let me circle back around to the Streets of Hope. We are looking for volunteers for the Streets of Hope. Reverend Jackie would like us to be there at 5 o'clock. I'll be there, but I'll be late. I'll be there around 5:30 or so. But we're asking for volunteers to help serve the food and sit with these gentlemen. Let's do what VLF always does. Let's represent and show that we are a force in the community of where our church is at. For now, again, tune in or go over to our VLF Nation website, share, subscribe, and comment. I won't get into the different playlists that are on there, but please just go over there and look and see if there's something for you. And again, I ask you to catch this week's Spotlight, where we'll feature Felicia Keys on her new show coming out, Conversation with Fee. This has been your news and announcements for the week starting November the 26th. Be blessed and see you Sunday.